All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. It's Friday. You know what that means. Say it with me. Bring it in here. Clear that throat. Let's go. You ready? It is Octane Friday, and that's when we kick it up a notch. Everyone loves Octane Friday. Well, maybe not. But anyway, a bunch of us do, that's for sure. And we are on day 5. We're on day 5 of a goal of 7 in a row. It's a rock block week here in the Rock Cave. What did you guys think of Pink Floyd's Metal? 24 minutes of in-depth conversation with none other than Michael Murray. I thought that was a good one. A few things, odds and sods here. I rewatched in segments this movie from, what was this, the early 90s. That was a big one for me. Pump Up the Volume. You guys remember that movie with Christian Slater? Remember Christian Slater? This is a great movie. And I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh man, I want to be a DJ. I want to be a pirate radio DJ. I just loved his basement setup, not unlike this, except he was broadcasting and saying whatever he wanted. He was in high school too, so there you go. But great music on that one, and just good stuff. And music on that, really. I did cover the soundtrack here on one of the seasons, and it's an interesting soundtrack with a lot of good stuff on it. Maybe I'll have to revisit that one of these days. But anyway, this week I've been listening to a lot of O Positive. If you remember that, I think I'll be revisiting them. And as always, Motels. Of course, I'm not listening to these CDs. They're all downloaded, but I love the Motels. Love me some Motels. I read this week, on a different note, that Roger Daltrey is touring. I didn't know this, but I guess it's probably what they would call his My Octogeneration tour. Anyway, he's doing a solo tour, and we all know how I feel about this record right here. One of my all-time favorites. Unfortunately, he's playing locally here in Connecticut the night that my wife and I are going to see Sarah McLachlan in her 30th anniversary of Fumbling Towards Ecstasy tour, which is we're super excited about. But I don't know anything. I don't know how much how Roger Daltrey sounds these days, but I'd love to hear some of his solo stuff, and he does do some solo stuff there. So that's what he does After the Fire, I think. So that's exciting. But anyway, if anyone has checked him out in the last few years, let me know what you think. Or if you've seen any of this tour, let me know what you think. And that wraps it up for music news for today. I'm Kurt Loder. What are we talking about today? Let's see. We're going back to this time, June 1987. Right smack in the middle of the heyday of Octane Friday. The 80s, gotta love the 80s. We're going back to June 87 when the band Great White released their first single off their third studio album. The studio album being Once Bitten, the song being Rock Me, and this would change their trajectory from slow rise to stratosphere. This was a good one, right? And this pretty much launched their career as far as that's concerned. Spent 14 weeks on the charts. It only peaked at number 60, however. But for those of you not in the know, Great White, LA band, roots dating back to bands in 1980, all kinds of other names. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but they had links to, some of those guys had links to like Armored Saint and Wasp, and one was a future member of Ozzy's band. They kind of do that, that LA Story thing where they're figuring out who they are, touring, trying to put out an EP, playing all the LA clubs, trying to make it happen. In 82, they put out a 5-song EP called Out of the Night. That actually got picked up by local radio stations, and so they went from playing like small crowds to a few, thousand people. And this EP sold 8,000 copies in 3 months, so they were really moving up there, getting there. This is the early 80s, people. This is LA. This is Motley Crue time, right? And they opened for Dokken in 83, got signed to EMI on the strength of that, and put out their debut album in 1984. Ended up opening up for Whitesnake in 84 for the Slide It In tour of Europe. And they ended up on the 84 tour of Defenders of the Faith, Judas Priest in the United States. Kiss, Lick It Up tour. I mean, they were opening for all these great bands. Their record was doing all right, but nothing major. But boy, they were all over the place. I kind of wish I'd seen them open up for the bands I was seeing. Somehow I managed to see Britney Fox 3 times, and maybe Vixen twice, opening up for all kinds of bands in the 80s. But anyway, they finally got out a second album, Shot in the Dark, 1986, moving along. And then this one, 1987. They went through a ton of personnel changes, all that's good stuff. But this one came out and ends up going platinum by April of 1988. Based on the strength of Rock Me, Save Your Love, and Lady Red Light. So good. And the Rock Me song is 7 minutes long on the album, and it's got this huge intro. I mean, it's a little bit different. That radio edit of 3 to 5 minutes doesn't do it justice. But then they ended up with this record because on the strength of that. They were touring for with Guns N' Roses, Twisted Sister, Whitesnake again, David Lee Roth. They played Monsters of Rock. And then, of course, came right back the next year with Twice Shy. So I was, 88. I was junior-ish in college and listening to whatever I was listening to. But this one was a big one for me. And because I was listening to Rat and all that stuff. And I just really enjoyed this record. And this is a good one. So Rock Me. You guys like this song? This is a good one. It is. If you haven't heard this one in a while, play it. I know some of you are not huge fans of Great White, or was it Dawkins? Which one was that? Paul Chabot. Anyway, I can't remember if you said you were a fan of Great White or not. But since you're the only one listening to Octane Friday, you can comment below. But your song of the day is Rock Me by Great White. This is a good one. Turn it up today, whatever you're doing today. I hope it involves music. It's summertime. Get that hairband music out. Enjoy it. Looking forward to the weekend, as usual. I'll catch you on the flip side.